Hey, oh,
Good evening, everyone. I want to introduce myself real quick. My name is Ryan Williams. We are part of the Debtbox Duo. Everybody find us on Facebook. Check out the group, Debtbox Duo. Kyle, introduce yourself, my man.
I've been in Debtbox now for 18, 19 months, got started January of last year. So I got in with Black Gold right in the beginning, and it's been awesome, man. So I'm just learning along with you guys. I've been fortunate enough to have some conversations with some people that are in very high up places within this community. So hopefully add some value to you guys tonight and answer some questions that you might have.
Nice. My story is I was lucky enough to get in basically almost day one with Billy Beach. Jason actually came to our office and sat down and gave us a full on debt box presentation. I understood maybe 6 or 7 words of that entire conversation. He walked out the door. Billy called me like a couple hours later and he was like, well, how much money are you going to give him? I was like, I don't know, man. I don't know anything about what he's saying. And I said, how much are you going to give him? And he's like, well, he drives a really nice car and I heard he has an awesome house. So I'm going to toss him 10 grand. And I was like, oh, I don't know if I can swing it. So at the time, Black Gold licenses were $1,700 each. They started at 1,500, and for every 100 licenses that were sold, they went up $100. That was the original plan with the debt box. The more licenses sold, the more the price went up. So I actually got in at the 1,700 price level. I bought 3 Black Gold licenses for $5,100, and that was the start of my journey. My biggest regret, honestly, is that I didn't buy more. Honestly, that's my only regret, is that I didn't grab more when we had the opportunity. Granted, it was much different then. This was all talk and rumor. Now we have all of this information. We've been to the sites. We have so much more information now. It's so much more powerful. Yeah. So tonight, I think we want to focus on obviously our new project, DCM. Let's kick it off there, Kyle. Before we get into DCM, one of the funniest and best quotes I think I've seen on your posts lately is like, guys, I'm not smart. I'm not smarter than any of you that are on this call. I was just smart enough to listen to a bunch of rich people say, hey, this is what I'm doing, and I'm just going to follow along. So
Yeah, man. I'll absolutely totally agree with that. Like that's such a motto that I've come to live by, not only just like in this last couple of years, but it's getting more and more prevalent, right? Like if somebody's telling you something that's in a place where you want to be, you should probably pay attention to what they're saying. Simple as that.
I like it.
So
Keep it simple, stupid.
right. Yeah, man. I mean, investing is it's more about being not being smart, but not being dumb, right? You don't have to be a brilliant guy to invest. Just don't be an idiot when you see a good opportunity.
There we go. So let's talk about a good opportunity. I have been very bullish on DCM. From the moment we found out about DCM, I was so excited about this project. I think this could be the project that really blows up Debtbox and really takes us to the masses. And here's my thought process behind it. I'm by no means an expert when it comes to this, but I know that there's lots of people that are now mining Bitcoin, and lots of companies are getting into it. There's big money, big businesses are going into mining Bitcoin now. People are spending, millions and hundreds of millions of dollars at this point to be able to mine Bitcoin. Their number one cost is the power consumption. So when I found out that we have found a way to mine Bitcoin basically for free, that was all I needed to hear. And I'm like, this could be the one. This could be it. Kyle?
Yeah, I agree, guys. So I think I'll just jump into like kind of like what really is DCM. I don't know how much you guys really know and have read up on the white papers or read into it or watched any of our other posts or Zooms or anything like that, or maybe Travis's Zooms. But essentially what is happening with DCM is, we already have royalties that are set up through oil and gas. Okay, so we already have the rights to be on these sites, these oil and gas sites, which there's already over 150 of. Each one of these sites, or almost all of these sites, have what's called a flare stack. Okay, so a flare stack is essentially all of the excess gas that comes out of the well during production gets burned off through this flare stack. It's literally a giant flamethrower on the side of the oil rig or gas rig. And it just burns this gas off because it's not enough gas for them to pipe, and it doesn't make sense to create a whole pipeline to run it. So they can't do anything with it. So what they're doing with it now is, instead of burning it off and creating carbon emissions into the atmosphere and wasting the energy, they're going to repipe that into natural gas generators. Those natural gas generators are going to be plugged into Connex boxes full of Bitcoin miners. So these portable data centers that can go anywhere in the world, they can move them from location to location as they need, very simply, are going to be powered with energy that otherwise would have been burned off into the atmosphere and wasted, and creating more carbon emissions at the same time. So, one of the big things about DebtBox is, decentralized, eco-friendly blockchain technology. So we want to really hit that eco-friendly part on the head with this. I personally live in Western Colorado, and last year they had a Bitcoin mining center put in there's this massive building down here that's been vacant for years. Huge facility. They filled that thing with Bitcoin miners, and they took I think it's like 15 acres around it, and they put 15 acres of solar panels up to power those Bitcoin miners in that building. If that gives you any inclination of how much power is required to mine Bitcoin, you guys might have some friends or know somebody that does a little bit of mining, like in their garage or something like that. When you ask those people, like, hey, is this worth it? Like, should I do this? The number one thing they're going to tell you is, yeah, it might be worth it, but your power bill is going to be insane. Not only that, but also the amount of heat that's generated from it, because the amount of electricity, it literally takes a ton of hash rate, a ton of computing power to mine all these cryptocurrencies. And it's not just Bitcoin, it's any of them. To bring that point on, that's another thing about these data centers that they have. They are not limited to mining Bitcoin. So, without getting too far off in the weeds here, each cryptocurrency on any given time has a difficulty to mine that currency. So let's say today it's really difficult to mine a Bitcoin today. Maybe we're better off mining Ethereum today. Maybe it's more profitable today to mine Ethereum. So they have the ability with these data mining centers to kind of flip that switch and go back and forth and be able to do whatever is most profitable at the time. So I hope that kind of gives you guys a general idea. I don't know, Ryan, if you have anything to add to that, maybe, and then if there's any brief questions about that, maybe we can answer.
Yeah, a couple things I'd like to add to that. We were lucky enough to talk to Roy and Shad. Those of you that don't know or are newer to this, Roy and Shad are two of the 4 members of the DebtBox Council. So at the IX party in the Dominican, Kyle and I were lucky enough to just kind of meet those two kind of over by the bar, and we just kind of stepped back from everyone, and we had a good, probably 45+ minute conversation. And a couple cool things that we found out about the DCM project was that the Bitcoin miners this is already all set up. There's a mobile company that does this type of business. So again, Jason's big thing is we don't want to buy anything. So we're literally just going to rent a trailer full of Bitcoin miners. I believe it's somewhere, Kyle, around 900, I think they said per station, 800 to 900. Okay. Right. What Roy told us was we can put one of these roughly every mile or so of pipeline, and just the one facility or the one natural gas location in Ghana is over 120 miles long. So we have the ability to set up damn near 100,000 miners across just this one facility. Okay, just this one parcel of land in Africa. And now they're talking about bringing on not just a couple more, but we're talking about bringing on hundreds more, both oil and gas wells to really expand this. And this could just absolutely blow up.
Yeah, you guys have to think it's not just the DCM project at work here. I mean, they've already, our BGLD and our NatG project is already, 18, 19 months old, more than that now. So all of those wells and all the progression that they're seeing there, for every one of those new wells that come online, one of these DCM units will absolutely be on those locations being utilized. And that's just within the DebtBox ecosystem. So the potential for this is much larger than that, because if we go out to an oil company, they're burning off that gas, we can still come to them and say, hey, you know what, we'll give you guys X amount of our profit from the Bitcoin mining to utilize your gas. It still doesn't cost us anything, and it's going to make them more money. So why wouldn't they say yes? Right. So the expansion potential here is huge. This is not just happening inside a DebtBox either. I haven't even told Ryan this, but I have a personal friend that's in Texas that works for investors that actually own these portable data centers, not related to the ones in the DebtBox, but this is happening across the world. This is a movement right now. So if you guys want to get involved with it, this is the absolute best time and the cheapest way to do it.
Crazy. That's yeah, thanks for sharing that info.
Yeah.
Can we get in on that too?
Maybe. I was trying to get him in with the DebtBox, man. I was like, dude, we need to get you in touch with Roy and you can start going out and finding more locations for us. So
Yes.
yeah.
So one thing Jason's really preached from the very beginning is it's an ecosystem. He was always talking about ecosystem, and I never really understood that. I was like, yeah, it just kind of feels like a bunch of projects. But now that we're, almost 2 years into this, it really is turning into a full-blown ecosystem, guys. Like,
yeah,
the oil and gas projects are now going to basically be powering a DCM project. Everything is starting to work together and everything starts to intertwine to really become a full-blown ecosystem.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is. I mean, I always was kind of described it as like the wheel on a cart, right? And Explore is almost the hub of that wheel, because if you look at every single project that we have, Explore almost touches all of those, and then from that, now it's almost becoming, now it's not even a wheel anymore. It's more like a spider web. I mean, really, because we've got DCM that's branching off of NatG and BGLD, and then we have Drip that's branching off the BEV distribution project, and it's only going to continue to grow. And there's not been any official announcements yet, but there are other projects that are related directly to the oil and gas field that they have mentioned that may or may not come out in the future. They're trying to find a way that makes sense to monetize it. So.
All right, guys. I saw one question pop up in the chat. Kyle, looked like you answered that. Does anybody?
Yeah, Kyle just asked how he was powering his, and I just let him know that he works for EOG Energy. So I don't represent them. I don't know what exactly they got going on, but he hit me up the other day. He was sending me a video. He was out on location and they're looking for a spot to place the mining rig. So.
Who else has got any questions about DCM, kind of that side of it? Ron?
If he can unmute himself, I know he's having trouble.
Ron, type it in the chat. You're still muted.
Yeah, feel free to ask questions, guys. Don't be shy here. Jump in and ask us. I mean, we're, like Ryan said, we're not experts by any means. We're not professionals or anything here. We have a little bit of experience and we want to educate you guys the best we can. So
we can talk a little bit about the tokenomics. We that have been in this kind of knew what DCM was going to be all about, because the tokenomics are set up the same way as Drip. So I was very bullish on DCM. We've been mining for just over 3 days now. We've already got a price if anybody is interested. It's hovering right around 12 cents right now. I can't say this with enough importance. If you take nothing else from this call, know that if you're going to get into a project, whether it's with the debt box or with somebody else, the earliest you can get into a project, the better off you're going to be. Okay. Again, I can't stress that enough. You definitely want to do all that you can in order to be in as quickly and as early as possible. With debt box, the reason why is because we start mining X number of tokens a day. And in the beginning, there were, I believe it was somewhere around 10,000 nodes or licenses that were sold. So we've got a predetermined number of, let's call it 3 million tokens, okay, that are going to be mined today. If there's only 10,000 people that can get a piece of those 3 million tokens, you're going to get an enormous amount of tokens in the beginning. And then as more people buy into the project and as more licenses come on, then your tokens slowly diminish over time because you're still pulling from the same amount that we started with on day one. Okay, that's a predetermined number of tokens. And then as more people come on again, you're slowly going to see that number trickle down. So getting in early is so very important. Even if you have micro, you're getting 8 tokens a day right now, Kyle, off of one micro license. Just to put that into perspective, guys, take a project like Grow. Grow is set up very similar as far as the tokenomics go. Grow's been going for somewhere around a year now. I think we get 3 tokens per day with a full license. If you get into DCM right now, you're getting 8 tokens per day with 1 micro license.
Yeah, for $50. It's insane.
$50. Crazy. Okay, we got a couple questions here. Shelly says, do you feel that buying a license of DCM at the lower prices is still worth it? Absolutely. Kyle, I'll let you answer if you want.
Yeah, so it's still going to be worth it. I mean, any of these, here's how I'm going to answer that question. And if you're unmuted, if you want to ask me something in person, go ahead. But I've been investing in real estate. I'm a real estate agent. That's kind of like my day job, right? Or was my day job. I'm kind of getting out of it now. But from a real estate perspective, if you're going to invest money into real estate, on average, if you have a really awesome performing asset, you're going to be looking at probably like 10 to 12% of return a year on that money, right? If your cap rate's really good. With this stuff, even if you figure these projects are going to make you like $1 a day, let's just say they're making you $1 a day. So let's say that you buy a license at the lower price. Let's say it gets to $1,000. You buy it for $1 a day. That's $30 a day, or I'm sorry, $30 a month. So what is that? $360 a year. That's 36%, you know, approximately. Now we don't give like ROIs or anything in here because nothing's guaranteed, obviously. But from my past experience, it's going to be much more than that. And to me, 36% return on your money every single year is an absolute home run. Anything above and beyond that is great. And right now, I mean, those DCM licenses for $5,000. So I bought 2 of them. Let me just look in here on my thing. I bought 2 of them the day they went and launched. And in 3 days, I've mined $576 back already. So that's already 10, or that's 10% of one of them. So it's 5% total return in 3 days that I've made back. So if anybody else has an investment that you can do that, let me know, because I don't think there's very many out there.
We should point out we are not financial advisors.
Yeah.
This is just going off of our personal experience. Again, not financial advisors, but hey, we think we can help make everybody a little bit more money. So Kyle's question, I think, rolls right into Shelly's question a little bit. Can you talk about the airdrops? Okay. We don't know a ton about any type of idea of how many we're going to get or anything like that. But if you have a full perpetual DCM mining license, you will receive a monthly dividend of Bitcoin. Okay. I don't know exactly what that means or entails. I don't know if we're going to finally, or if we're going to see Bitcoin show up in our DebtBox wallets. I don't know exactly how that's all going to go down. But again, Grow is set up very similar as far as the tokenomics go. I love every single month that I'm like, oh, the Grow dividend must have hit today, because all of a sudden I just got a nice little boost. We've seen up to like 127 tokens per license per month in Grow dividends. You know, Grow's not performing super high right now, but at one point it was around $1 for a while. I mean, 127 extra dollars every single month. I'm
Right.
never going to complain about that.
Yeah, I think that I think that that'll probably get airdropped direct to our wallets. Like Ryan said, we didn't go into specifics with him about that at the time, and I don't think they were 100% sure how they were going to operate that at that point. But we do know that we will be getting a percentage of the Bitcoin that's mined. Now, I don't know how many of you guys are familiar with the way that the trust works and stuff like that. Maybe I can talk about that for a second. So people are going to ask, okay, this DCM token that we're mining, what is it backed by? How is it supported? Where does the value in that come from? So just like every other token in the DebtBox ecosystem, the value of the DCM token will be based off of the revenue that this project provides. So if let's say we mine 10 Bitcoin 1 month, right, or whatever it is, that revenue minus a percentage that will be held back for distribution to all of the license holders, that Bitcoin will be sold for US dollars. Those dollars will go into a trust fund. That trust account will buy a token off the open market. A percentage of that will be burned. Okay. So any of, I tell people this, like if you're going to go in there and you want to sell your token, you can sell your token at any time you want, because the trust is going to be there to buy it, because trust has liquidity in it. So I hope that kind of makes sense for you guys. And I hope that kind of answers the question. Ryan, do you want to piggyback on that?
Yeah, I thought that was good. I kind of lost it. The royalty and the trust is so important. I don't think enough people really, put enough thought and time into that. But again, going back to the tokenomics, we get a lot of tokens in the beginning and that number slowly diminishes over time. It's set up the same way that Bitcoin does. Every 4 years, Bitcoin has a halving. And so then half of the tokens will get mined that were mined in the previous 4 years. Ours are set up in the same way, but ours are on, we'll call it an express lane, okay? Some of our projects have, most of them have one halving each year. Some of them have 2 halvings in a year now. And then we've even got projects with quarterly quarterings, which is basically the equivalent of 2 halvings a year. So we are going to expedite this as much as possible. And once the revenue from the trust grows bigger than the amount or the dollar value of tokens that get mined on a monthly basis, guys, this thing is going to absolutely explode. So right now, if you're new to crypto, know that we are in what's called a crypto winter, to where a lot of token values are down. Okay. Bitcoin is hovering somewhere around, I think, 27,000 right now. Bitcoin got to an all-time high a couple of years ago of 69,000. Well, next year is when Bitcoin will have again, sometime in 2024. And once it does that, me personally, I feel that Bitcoin will probably get to somewhere around $100,000 this next bull run. So
At least.
yeah, I mean, there are experts who project it to go to $500,000. I've even seen $1 million. So think about that for a second, guys. We're mining something, okay, for basically free. We're using green, free energy to do this. And we're going to be mining something that has the potential to 5x, I mean 10x, not just our tokens, but what we're actually producing or what we're mining also has the ability to 5, 10, possibly 20x. Like the sky's the limit. And the potential is insane. Those of you that have not really jumped on board yet or are still new to the debt box, we got some great news that yesterday they extended the micros promo. You can grab 18 micro licenses. It gets you 2 micros in 9 of the different projects for $500. Okay. This is such a great way to get started. Typically a micro license is $50. Again, you get 18 micro licenses for $500. It's almost a buy one, get one free.
Yeah, guys, it's $27 a license. You can pay with a card. You know, it's super easy. You don't have to have a crypto account set up. You can literally get in there and buy these things in 15 minutes and have it all set up and ready to go. The other thing that I like about that micro node pack, the combo pack they have right now, if you want to get in on BGLD, NatG, Grow, any of those projects, the only way that you can get in on any of those projects, if you come to me, if you come to Ryan and you say, hey, I want to buy one of your licenses that you own. And I don't know about Ryan, but I'm not selling mine. So unless the only way that you can get in on a little piece of mining for any of those projects is to buy that micro pack. So if you want to be a part of that, that's the only way to do it. I suggest you do it, and it's a great deal. So don't sleep on that one.
Yeah, that's huge. I forgot to point that part out. But yeah, BGLD, guys, completely sold out. Grow, completely sold out. Nat Gas, you see, sold out. At some point here by, I want to say July 1st, we've got a couple more projects that will be turning to NFTs, which is exciting. I know that there's going to be some people that are looking to grab some NatG licenses out off the open market. I know Miss Shelley's on here listening, and she just cannot wait to get her hands on some NatG licenses, because I have a funny feeling that they're going to be on the discount, Shelley. So this is one time when it might pay off to be a little bit later to the party. But Shelley, guys, she is fantastic. She asks me questions all the time, which is great. And she probably knows as much or more than I do now, because she's always in the chats. I see her asking Jason questions. Jason's the founder of the Debt Box, and we have the ability to communicate directly with Jason on almost a daily basis through our Telegram channels. He's told us a couple times lately that he's not sure exactly how much longer he's going to be able to spend all that much time in the Telegram groups. But the fact that we have the ability to basically communicate directly to him is awesome. We sold, or Debtbox brought in over $2 billion in revenue last year. I don't think there's a lot of places or a lot of companies that where you can access somebody like that. I'm not sure who the CEO is of I don't know, Amazon or Google right now, but I'm pretty sure if I jumped in the Telegram group, I'm not getting him.
Yeah, no doubt, man.
Hey guys, it's Jess. How are you doing?
Oh, hi, Jess.
Good, it's good to see you.
Thank you. Thanks so much for doing this. Do you guys want to share some, speaking of having access to information, what all were you getting as the most important points that when you were talking with Shad and Roy? Give us some of your nuggets of what you were talking that night in the Dominican.
It was.
What do you remember?
It was more the, what they kind of went over about the DCM project.
With Explorer too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I didn't know if you guys hit everything that you got from that night. I remember there was so much good information.
Yeah, it was like information overload. I mean, it's so exciting for to have those conversations. I mean, everybody on this Zoom call, or probably most of you on this Zoom call, you're either just getting started or you maybe have been in a little bit, and all you see is an app on your phone, and you see numbers on a screen, and it's not really like you might understand it, but you really don't understand it. I don't know how else to put it. But when you're talking with Shad and Roy, Shad and Roy, just so you guys know, they are on the Debt Council, and they are the guys that are in charge of these projects out in the field. So when we're talking about oil and gas and DCM and aluminum and gold and grow and all these projects don't just run, right? I mean, like, they're not like fairy fairy tale stuff, right? Like, there has to be somebody out there making sure that these things are operating and putting the systems in place to where the management's there, the employees are there, everything is functioning properly. And when you talk to someone like Shad and Roy and have those conversations about, you know, what they're doing and the struggles that they're having trying to get these people to do this, and they have, you know, this project didn't work out, so now they've got to find another supplier for something. You know, I mean, it's a very real business and a very real company, and there's blood, sweat, and tears on the backside of this stuff that you guys don't see. Just like any other business. I mean, this is not nameless coin, right? That they just are pumping up out of nowhere and making on a computer somewhere. It doesn't mean anything. This is real life stuff, and this is real assets.
Yeah, one of the big things that I took from our conversation was obviously that we have so much going on. These guys they're out away from their families. They basically live on the road. I mean, they're not spending much time in the US. They're constantly going to Africa. They're constantly going to the UAE. They're nowhere even near America. I thought it was pretty fascinating to hear that we have more countries that are approaching the debt box that want our technology. I don't know that much about government contracts, but I feel confident that when you sign a contract with the government, you're probably going to get paid. We've been lucky enough to get it with Ghana. They were telling us that they are doing a lot of work with, it was Colombia, right, Kyle?
Yeah, I wasn't going to be the one to say it, but since you said it, yeah, so the name Colombia was definitely thrown out there. Just think about agriculture and what comes from Colombia. I'm not sure if we're supposed to say much, but other than that, but there's lots of things that that could be of good for some of the projects. So
legal things. There's a few illegal things that come out of Colombia, and they said we couldn't get our hands on those, but we could access the legal stuff.
Yeah. But all right, guys, questions. Come on, hit us with the questions. You gotta want to know something, even if it's not pertaining directly to DCM. What's you know, anybody that's not invested yet, what's holding you back? Anybody that's not in the projects?
The biggest question I had joining on had to do with the airdrops, because I know they mentioned them, but I had no clue how they were going to work. Sounds like that's still up in the air for everyone.
Yeah, nothing's definitely set in stone yet with the airdrops, but you know, surely it's probably just going to come right into our debt wallets. If not, maybe there'll be a type form that comes out and you can put in a wallet address of your choice and they will have it airdropped to that wallet address. But yeah, once again, we will see. I believe the first one is on July 1st. So I'm sure that will be announced shortly. I will say, even though sorry, Ryan. So I will say, even though they haven't announced that yet, they've never not followed through on anything that they said that they were going to do. So I'm not really so concerned about like if it's going to be done. It's just how it's going to be done. So
yeah, I would say that it'll just be automatic. I don't know exactly how they're going to figure it out, but it will just pop up into your wallet. I'm confident. I'm glad you mentioned that. Jason said so many things over the past year and a half, and he follows through, guys. What he says he's going to do, he follows through with. Like the NFT thing, we were kind of getting close to the deadline of BGLD. It was going to be done by the end of first quarter. And sure enough, you know, as we got closer to the end of March, he made it happen. So anything that he says he's going to do, I feel confident that they've made it, they've done it. The debt box has followed through with exactly what they said they were going to.
Yep. Kyle's got a question. When they say Bitcoin equivalent, what does that mean exactly? I guess, Kyle, you want to unmute yourself and not sure.
Yes, so they said with the airdrops that it will be
Oh, Darcy,
That it
you
would
want to
be,
mute yourself, Darcy?
all right. They said
Right.
that you'd be getting Bitcoin equivalent airdrop to you. What is that exactly? Is that just because it's like a different network, or?
Yeah, I'm not sure where did you hear that at? In the Telegram chat?
Yeah, I think it might be in the light paper. Even it says that we'll be getting Bitcoin or Bitcoin equivalent airdrops.
Gotcha.
But
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that makes sense to me for Bitcoin equivalent would just be like, obviously the whole entire debt chain at this point in time runs on the BSC chain. You know, Bitcoin is its own chain, right? So it would have to be Bitcoin on the BSC chain. So which is worth the same thing, right? But I mean, maybe that's what they meant. I didn't hear that specifically, but I guess I had already kind of assumed it would be on the BSC chain just because the entire debt ecosystem is on that chain already.
and it would have the same value.
It has, yeah, it's pegged. So it's
Okay.
pegged to the same value as Bitcoin. It's just operating on a different blockchain system.
Gotcha.
I have a
called
speculation on
wrapped.
that a little bit.
What was that?
It'll be wrapped
I have-
Bitcoin.
There you go. That's the term. I didn't know the term for it, but
Yep. Sorry, Flint.
No, that's okay. I kind of have a speculation that they might be planning on using that to help with their L1. And I'm betting that you'll have the choice of taking whatever their native token is there or Bitcoin. Because I think the way it was originally announced is Bitcoin or other altcoins. So I'm just wondering if that's how they'll kind of jumpstart their own layer one.
yeah, so the DCM project, that's something they did talk about in the Dominican. They didn't go into extensive detail about it because at that time I think it was still a little bit up in the air. Obviously, if you're in the Telegram chat, you know now that that's getting talked about more and more as time goes on from Jason. The layer one token is debt token. There will not be any more layers. Debt token is the layer one token. So, you know, if you guys are believers, you know, in the DebtBox ecosystem and everything that's going on, and you don't have a DebtBox license, like an actual debt license, I highly suggest you get in there and start buying up debt token, because when this does become a layer one, that's absolutely going through the roof. Now, DCM gives us the ability further to expand within our own network and mine more of our own coins, because right now we're paying hosting fees. So, you know, any of you guys that are familiar with the system know that you got to pay $5 a month to host a license if you didn't buy it through IX and get some of the free hosting from them. So with the DCM project, you know, it hasn't been officially said how that's all going to be structured and function yet, but having all those miners and that computing power gives us the opportunity to host our own licenses instead of hosting them out on virtual private servers. So, and everything within the DebtBox ecosystem is owned by everybody collectively. So it's decentralized, not one single person controls it. So, yeah, I mean, it absolutely gives us the DCM project gives us the launch to get closer to being our own layer one and our own unique ecosystem outside of Binance. You know, there's a lot of outside influence right now from Binance based on price. If you look at the price of BSC versus the price of debt, there's absolutely a what do you call it? I mean, it kind of follows each other a little bit, right? So
Yeah, let me jump in on the debt thing real quick. I believe in the debt box. I believe in debt. I own multiple debt licenses. The fact that it's under $10 right now is baffling to me. And if you really want to buy the debt token, I think you should start buying the tokens now, because the debt licenses themselves are set up completely different than every other license that we have in the ecosystem. If you guys are not aware, they sold 15,000 on year one. Then they sold 5,000 this year. They'll sell 5,000 in 2024, and then they'll sell the last 5,000 in 2025, for a total of 30,000 licenses ever that will be able to mine for debt tokens. That is I don't know exactly how much they're going to cost for this next go round. I'm guessing, I think the last one sold for 15,000. I'm guessing it'll probably be 25, 30,000 this year. And then for 2025, it'll probably double again. So we're probably going to be looking anywhere from 50 to, maybe 75,000 for one debt license to be able to mine debt tokens. And each debt license right now only mines 0.4 debt per day. So after another halving, we'll be down to 0.2 debt per day and then 0.1 debt per day. But when that token hits $300, $400, $500, you'll be happy.
Yeah, I want to mention something real quick. This is going to relate back to our conversation about why you want to get in on a project in the beginning. The debt license itself was the second project I bought. The first one was oil. I bought several weeks after it had already started mining. So it was already liquid and it was doing pretty good. It was mining, I don't know, 10, 15 bucks a day, maybe 20. I don't remember exactly. It was doing really good. So as soon as the debt license came out, I was like, heck yeah, I'm going to buy a couple of them, right? So I bought a couple of those, and it was mining 300 and something tokens a day. And I think they were worth less than a penny. It was making me about 3 or 4 cents a day. And it did that for maybe 2 weeks. And I was so pissed off because I was like, crap, I just spent all my freaking money on this thing and it's only making me, couple dollars here and there. That was it. But what I didn't realize was it was mining me 300 tokens a day. Fast forward to January, a couple months ago, when that peaked. I haven't sold any of my debt tokens, by the way. When debt peaked in January at $40 each, do the math, 40 times 300, that was $1,200 a day I was mining those first 2 weeks. And I was pissed off at the time because all I saw was the penny signs on there and thought I was getting screwed. But what I didn't realize was the value that's going to come from this is not today, but it's in the future. And it's the same exact thing with every single one of these projects. DCM is a great example. I think Blocks is another awesome example. If you guys aren't familiar with Blocks mines, I don't know, it's a pretty significant amount of token that Blocks mines every single day for those licenses. Man, I tell you what, in the future, you're looking at that right now and you're like, I'm only mining $2 a day. Oh man, when that thing hits 10 cents, I mean, you're going to look back and be like, wow, I was mining $1,200, $1,300, $1,400 a day off these licenses. So get in the beginning, hold them. Don't look at the price, guys. Just look at the token. The liquidity is there. If you need the money, if you want the money, if you want to go spend it, spend it. There's no reason not to do it. But if you can hold it and you could be a long-term investor in these projects, that's where your money's going to come from. You're going to make a ton of it.
A story that I heard from Jason was that he started mining Bitcoin back in the beginning, and he's the only person that I've ever heard of that ever got in where the price was under $1. Okay. So you're mining something that's under $1 every single day. And you're thinking like, what am I doing? I'm spending a ton of money in power and energy. Like, this isn't going to be worth it. When it hit $500, when each Bitcoin hit $500, he said, that was it. Like, I'm done. Like, I'm so rich right now. We're mining hundreds of these things a day, and it hit $500 and they sold, right? Because that's what you do. You make a bunch of money and then you sell it. Well, sometimes you wait because that $500 coin, got to 69,000 and how much money was missed out on there. So I'm a big believer in the nodes. I know that there's a lot of talk and, some of our groups and on Telegram and that, like, well, you can just buy tokens. I understand that, but I think that nodes, accumulating nodes and accumulating as many as possible is the way to go. We can argue that however you want, but whoever buys just the tokens, you're going to run out of tokens before I run out of mining. I'll always have more and more coming in. And in 2 years and 5 years and 10 years, I mean, hell, some of these projects, guys, are going to last longer than we will. Like, if you didn't know that, you heard it here first. Some of these projects have already been going. The aluminum mine in Ghana, where they mine bauxite, has already been going for 80, 80 or 90 years. And through the Explore program, we've been able to locate them an estimated 200 more years of bauxite at one location. So they thought that they were running out of aluminum to be able to mine, and we found them basically 5 more mountains full. Again, another 200 years. So you can buy tokens in the beginning, and that's great, but I want those licenses because my kids they're gonna thank me one day.
Yep. I just saw Kyle said that the nodes will go down all the way to $500. And yeah, you're right, man, especially with drip. I think in the token or in the tokenomics for DCM, I think it only goes to 750 if I remember right. But yeah, even when they get down to that, I think that they are going to be limiting you to 5 of those. But I mean, honestly, guys, if you want that to be your strategy, then do that. You know, I mean, having more licenses is always good. You know, if you want to get in the beginning and mine a ton of token, my strategy and I think Ryan's strategy are similar, where we want to get in at the beginning to mine as much token as possible. And then once it gets down to those lower prices, we are going to take all that money that we mined and we're going to reinvest it into more licenses at the lower prices, so that we now have, you know, instead of having 2 or 5, now you've got 10 or 15 licenses just from what those original licenses mined for you. So, you know, yes, they cost more in the beginning. Yes, it might be 5,000 a piece or 3,000 a piece or whatever they are. But if you can muster up that money and put it in there in the beginning, take all that money as it comes down and cash that out and use it to reinvest and buy more licenses and grow your portfolio.
Yep. That's my plan, baby. Give me those licenses. I want to rack up as many as possible.
Yep.
With DCM, we're seeing what did we get? 800 tokens the first couple of days, Kyle. So
yeah, it was almost 900. It was like 870 or something the first day.
And at 10 cents a token, we're looking at 80-90 bucks.
So, yeah, well, like I said, I mean, I've got 2 licenses, and in 3 days, I've almost got $600 in there. So,
yep. So, guys, think about that for a second. He's already got $600, an equivalent of $600. Okay.
Right, which I can cash out right now if I want to go in there and sell it right now. That money's there.
Yep. 3 days after the project launched, he could already cash out and sell his tokens if he wants. However, I would recommend that he holds on to those tokens for a little while. Because at some point here, probably over the next month or so, we're going to see that token value rise. And just after those 30 days, if he's got himself, let's call it, $3,000 or $4,000 worth of tokens, and the price of the licenses has come down to $1,000, well, now he can go and buy 3 more licenses. And so instead of having 2 licenses, he's now got 5 licenses with the same amount of money that he put in the beginning. And he's going to have 5 licenses that is going to pay him a dividend for the rest of his life, which is
instead of 2, I'll have 5.
Awesome.
Yeah, exactly. It's exactly how you do it. And then you do
I was
that
just
over
about
and
to
over
say,
again. Go ahead, Jess.
I was about to say, talk about how important it is for you to now, instead of compounding up and getting, more like we were doing before, now we're getting in day 1 and then we're compounding down, and how before it sells out, we could turn 1 into 5 licenses without adding any more out of our pocket. Then we can just use those tokens, keep buying. If anyone hasn't done it, I started with a drip and I got another one, and I'm saving up to get my 3rd. So if you guys want to get 1, that one investment could turn into, say, 5 or 6, maybe 7 before it sells out. So I think this is a good experiment to buy day 1 and then watch how many you can get with those same tokens compounding down before they sell out. Because this one I feel like is going to be a pretty hot one.
Yeah, I was looking at, I'll even jump on right now and just see, but I think that the sold has already gone to, we're at 12,000. I think yesterday it was at 10,000. A little bit above 10,000. So we've already sold another 2,000 in the last couple of days. So these things are going to be going quick for sure.
Yeah, I'm sitting. Oh, I don't know if you can see this, but I got the blurred screen on. It's not working. I've already got around 25,000 DCM tokens in just a few days. So I'm super excited. I can't wait. I think sky's the limit on this one.
That's awesome, man. I saw somebody post in this questions too. I think we missed it earlier. If we got the bought the dip, quote unquote, today. I wouldn't say I bought the dip. I think I got in around 8-9 cents. So I got a little bit of a deal there. Definitely didn't get it down. I saw somebody bought like $5,000 worth around a penny or 2 pennies. So somebody absolutely killed it with that one. But
we need a bot. If anybody can come up with a bot that can buy it instantly, let us know. I know it's hard enough to figure that stuff out.
Well, guys, I hope that answers most everybody's questions. Does anybody have anything else? I think that we tried to cover DCM as best as we could. I know that's what this was pretty much focused around. Is there anything else that we might have missed that someone wants to add, or questions that we didn't answer that you had?
All
I
right.
think Jason wants to say something.
Go for it,
He's
Jason.
being-
We would love to hear it.
No, he keeps typing. I'm just like, just talk, babe.
No, I was just gonna say, thank you guys so much for putting this on. And I think we should start doing these, at least once a week. So much good information, and I learn almost every day from you guys, just another nugget. So we really appreciate you.
Yeah, man. Thanks for being here watching. And yeah, I'm happy. If I can help someone else, man, I know what it was like. I remember in the beginning, like I said, a year ago or a year and a half ago, we didn't have these Zoom meetings. There was no videos of the oil rigs. There was no pictures of the agricultural fields, the gold mine. There was nothing. Like, my buddy Billy hit me up and was like, hey, dude, my friend's doing a crypto project. I know you're into crypto. You need to buy some of these notes. And I was like, all right, man. There was nothing to back it up. I mean, it was there, but we couldn't see it. There was no proof. Like, you guys have so much evidence now, like on YouTube, and now you have us to talk to, and we're trying to get the word out there and spread it. I mean, I'm just happy to be able to give that to you guys, because that's something I wish I would have had in the beginning. Because if I would have put the money that I could have into this, then things would be a lot different in my life. My life's already really, really good because of this project, but it would be even better if I'd have put more in the beginning. But I wouldn't have known that because I didn't know back then. So,
well, it's crazy too, because my buddy Terrence, I don't know if you've met him, but he's been in since day one with you guys.
Okay.
And yeah, he said at the beginning we had to send $1,500 per license to some random Coinbase wallet and hope that someday a license shows up. There was no marketing info. There wasn't even a website.
There wasn't even a
basically
website,
built off truck.
dude.
Yeah.
I mean, it was crazy. Yeah.
And I think we're learning the importance of at least trying to get in on every project, even if it's just one node, because these airdrops, I didn't expect to get anything with DCM airdropped at a discount when it came to having a natural gas. I got one of the last ones. That's right when I was coming in, and I was like, let me sell some silver and get a natural gas. Well, I think in the future, they're hinting that Blocks is going to support Swipe, and gold node holders are actually going to support the silver. So, I think it's going to continue to go on and on. If you guys want to just keep that in mind, that's what the ecosystem is all about.
Yeah, that's a great example of just more of the intertwining of the ecosystem. One project's going to help another. So again, just to reiterate what Jess just said, if you want to get in on Swipe, which is going to be our next project that launches, and it will be backed or supported by credit card transactions, you will buy that through Blocks. So start getting those Blocks license, or start getting those Blocks tokens right now. Another quick strategy for you guys of what we did with DCM was, instead of just having a few dollars or a certain dollar amount that we were going to use to buy into the project, we actually started dollar cost averaging that money into natural gas and then into black gold. So I had a dollar amount that, I'm going to put in 10 grand and I'm going to slowly buy 500 or $1,000 when I see natural gas or I see black gold dip. I'm going to buy in as low as I possibly can. And then we were able to make money off of that because those tokens went up in value. And then we took that extra profit and then we were able to roll it into an extra DCM license. So it was like I got a DCM license for free. So again, it's another strategy to think about. But right now, if you've got, even if it's $50 or $100, whatever the dollar amount is, that's insignificant. If you see blocks drop down to whatever number you determine, I'm going to say if it drops below, I think it's 0.006 again. If it goes below that, I'm going to buy in. I'm going to grab some because I'm not going to miss out on swipe, and I'm going to take that money and hopefully be able to get enough money off of the token increasing to where I can buy myself an extra license that I wouldn't have been able to get. Does that make sense?
So awesome. Yeah.
Good idea. I think Sherry might have had a question, or who was that?
Shelly, would you buy a second blocks license to get a so you won't get a discount for having a blocks license. You only get the discounts if you own a debt license, like the actual debt license. Those are the way that you get airdrops for the discounts. License a second. Yeah, did I kind of answer your question? Shelly, do you want to unmute?
So Shelly, it's going to be, you're going to buy it with tokens. You're going to use blocks tokens in order to be able to buy swipe.
So yeah, on that front, like a good example right now is DCM. So DCM, you can only technically buy a DCM license with BGLD or NATG tokens. That's if you're through the DebtBox ecosystem. Now, if you are involved in IX, you can go in there and there's multiple ways to pay through IX for your license. But what happens to all those funds that IX is taking to purchase those licenses for you? They're taking that, they're splitting it 50-50, and they're converting it half into blocks, or I'm sorry, half into NATG and half into BGLD. And they're going to take that amount of token and they're going to burn it. By the way, as far as my understanding, that actually hasn't even started happening yet for the 12,000 licenses that have already been purchased. So I mean, do the math on that. If they're, let's say they're even $5,000 average, right? Because there's some are airdrops, some are full price, whatever. So $5,000 times 12,000, let's say it's 10,000. What is that? $5 million, right? Am I wrong? So $5 million.
That sounds right.
Yeah, so $5 million. So that's 2.5 million. You go into NATG. Am I right? Jason, did you do the math on it?
60 million.
60 million.
12,
Okay.
12. You said 12,000 license at 5K each.
Yeah.
Yeah, 60 million.
Okay, so I was way off.
So Shelly was
basically-
just talking about, Shelly was just talking about how she got 2 airdrops by owning a NATG or whatever. She's talking about her DCM airdrop. So she's saying the same things will happen with blocks. So should I get a second? I think, am I saying it right, Shelly?
Gotcha.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't-
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
I don't think we know for sure if that's same thing is going to happen, or all we know definitely right now is that we are going to use the tokens in order to be able to buy it. I'm sure that, she just said he hinted yes. So,
Yeah, that's what I was reading too.
I take his hints for word. So I would definitely try to grab another blocks license or a bunch of blocks tokens.
Yeah. Sorry,
And
Shelly.
yeah,
I misunderstood your question.
No, but that was huge, Kyle. $60 million worth of tokens being burned between black gold and natural gas.
So $30 million on each side. I mean, if you look at the average burns over the last few months, I mean, they just put out the notice for BGLD. BGLD burned just around $5 or $6 million this last month. If we have $30 million that has to be burned this next month, I mean, do you guys think it's going to have an impact? I mean, yeah, of course it's going to have an impact. It's going to be awesome. So And that's only with 12,000 sold. They have 100,000 licenses that have to be sold that way.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
So
It's only a matter of time. It's only a matter of time. Those burns, man, they're going to definitely outweigh the amount of token that's coming out. And it's literally simple supply and demand economics. We are just about to see this thing really start to happen and take off. So
yeah.
Even though you guys, if you're not in yet, even if you're, this is still the beginning, right? Like we talk about getting in at the beginning. I still feel that the debt box is very much in its infancy. You know, even after almost 2 years, this is still new. Once we have our own blockchain, I mean, from talking to some crypto experts, they firmly believe that gas fees on Ethereum and Bitcoin, once we're into 2024, 2025, you could easily pay $500 in gas fees just to be able to move money around or to be able to get your money, guys. So there has to be more blockchains that come out to make things more affordable, because I'm even seeing it on Ethereum now. I think it was 2 weekends ago, it was trying to charge me like $200 to move some money around. And I'm like, this is insane. And, you know, and we're still in a down market. So just wait until, Travis always likes to say, only 4% of the world has a crypto wallet, and that number is going to grow up to 10. Like, just wait till 10% of people are on Ethereum trying to move money around. Like, the gas fees are going to be insane. So what Jason's doing with building our own blockchain is phenomenal.
Yeah, and if you guys didn't hear about the launch event in Korea, that's actually why we've had this promotion for the 18 micro nodes over the last couple of days, is because they had a launch event in Korea, and that's what that was for. They had an article on the back of, I think it's K-pop magazine is what it's called, which is basically like, if you guys have ever heard of Gangnam Style, which is like that song that was out a few years ago. One of the most popular and famous like Asian culture band icons, whatever, right? And these guys own Debtbox licenses and are now advocating for them. They have over 200 million subscribers, I believe is what they said on their Twitter and YouTube. So that is going to absolutely explode, because maybe those people can't afford to come and buy licenses, but if they can't buy licenses, what can they buy? They buy token. I think that's going to be good for us too, right? So the bigger this thing gets, I mean, as of right now, we have like around 500,000 or 600,000 people in the debt ecosystem as far as license holders. What's going to happen when that's up around 2 million? So there's so much, guys. I mean, I can't even, like, we could go on forever about it, honestly.
Yep. I could just keep talking and talking and talking. No problem. I have so much information stored in this head.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
I would like to say thank you guys for doing the call. I like these smaller calls a whole lot better than the huge, you know, several thousand people on.
Yeah, it's nice to just have the ability just to talk back and forth and answer questions if you guys do have them. And, you know, once again, Ryan and I aren't professionals at this by any means, but we hope that we can, you know, give as much value as we can to you guys, and hopefully everybody on this call learned something tonight. So. All right, I think that's good for me. Ryan, you got anything else?
No, I think we're good. Again, just to reiterate, if you guys didn't hear me in the beginning, I have my own, or we have our own Facebook group. My wife and I, we're on Facebook, the Debtbox Duo. Come and join our group. Love to have you in there. And I'm going to try and do more of these Zoom calls. So Jay, either next week or the week after, we're going to jump on one together. Kyle, thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate it. And
yeah, man, that was a great idea. I'm happy we should do it again. So.
For sure.
Yeah, we
it's
also
awesome.
we also have a Telegram group, the Cali Debt Boxers. You guys are welcome to join as well. We talk all the time about all these things that we talked about tonight. So please feel free. We love talking about this, especially with Ryan and Kyle. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much.
Yep, you're welcome, guys.
Yeah.
We love talking to you guys too. You guys are the bomb.
You
All right.
guys are awesome. Well, thank you so much.
All right, guys.
Okay,
Have a good
have a
night.
great evening.
Hey.
See
Oh.
ya.
Daddy. 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 Daddy.